Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews. If you enjoy this review, make sure you hit that like and the subscribe button, and if you have any opinions at all that you would like to share, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. Eminem, Music to be Murdered By, Side B. Eminem, legendary Detroit rapper, singer, songwriter, yet also no doubt one of the most polarizing figures in rap today. I mean, everyone's got an opinion on him nowadays. Either you think he's past his prime, or he's still one of the GOATs. Me personally, I do tend to lean more so towards the latter, but he is also definitely past his prime. Doesn't mean I don't think he's putting out bad music. Hell, check out my review of Side A, the standard edition, I suppose, of Music to be Murdered By. There's a link in the corner for you to go check that out. In this case, though, it looks like M is kind of following down the same path as his contemporaries, releasing a deluxe version months after the original standard edition, with this Side B album pretty much being a full second album. Seen a lot of mixed reviews for this one, but where do I stand on Music to be Murdered By, Side B? Let's find out as I review it track by track. Since this was a surprise drop, we will just start at the top of the track list with Alfred Intro, which is a brief 17-second intro with Alfred Hitchcock's narration, where he calls this music to be buried by, which kind of seems like a missed opportunity on Eminem's part to do that and call the album that. But whatever, it's short, doesn't really add much, whatever. Black Magic featuring Skylar Grey. I just want to know what makes M obligated to keep collaborating with Skylar Grey. It's like every corner I turn to a new Eminem album, there she is on another scant, moody, minimalistic chorus that really only serves as a potential radio hit. And this one's no exception either. M's rapping, on the other hand, meh. It doesn't really grab me that much over this beat. I do enjoy his flow switch-ups though, but over this dramatic, almost gothic beat, I don't think it really suits him at all. Lyrically, it seems to deal with this relationship, how this woman cast a black magic spell on him, and now they're caught in this toxic, never-ending relationship, almost like a curse, sort of. It definitely suits the beat at best, but nothing else here really matches. I'm honestly gonna have to pass on this one. Alfred's theme is a bit of an awkward track for me, and I think the main thing is the contrast between Eminem's tone and delivery and this beat. First off, the beat has this silly, playful, Carney-esque style to it, something that sounds like it should be played at a circus. M has handled beats like this before, some to a much lesser extent, but his much more standard delivery doesn't really mash all that well. I was kind of hoping for something a bit more maniacal, not this cheesy, almost cringy 5-minute and 40-second straight bar track with some very clunky interludes that stop any momentum for this song dead in its tracks. Lyrically, M deals with his upbringing, the coronavirus outbreak, and also brags about his skill and flow, which definitely is demonstrated at the end of the track, but aside from that brief moment, I don't know, maybe it'll grow on me, but frankly, I kinda doubt it. Pass. Tone Deaf is a song I feel like I really should hate a lot, but I can't bring myself to do it. I have fallen in love with this track, and mainly this beat with its crinkly, staticky undertones. But the perky pulses of the bass, it's kind of a groove, and M just flows like butter over this beat. It's this tidal wave of a track that just sweeps you in, and you ain't getting back out once you're caught. Much like Alfred's theme, the track is fairly long, 4 minutes and 50 seconds, but this time it's actually entertaining to listen to, even if it does contain arguably some of M's most corny and downright stupid bars to date, as he brags about his skills again, and dissing some of the game as well. I mean, fuck it, this is a fun song in pretty much every aspect. I love it. Great song. Book of Rhymes featuring DJ Premier, yet again another pretty long track, the exact same length as Tone Deaf, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. And I'll be honest, with a title like Book of Rhymes, I kinda expected a little bit more substance. All M really seems to be doing is just acknowledging and critiquing the backlash he's been getting, saying how he still has shit to give and stuff to prove. He's not going senile or off the rails. There is some decent stuff in here. There are flashes to older Eminem in spots as well, plus the beat switch is really nice as well, going from something pretty generic to a bit more eerie and threatening. This kind of fits right in the middle between the last two tracks. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not a favorite, although I do have faith that this one will grow on me, so I'll keep it around. Favorite Bitch featuring Ty Dolla $ign is just such a boring song. I get absolutely nothing out of this. M is the closest we get to some life here. His flows are pretty eccentric, fun, but this beat is just yawn. The flat percussion and these synths are just ugly in one note. Ty's hook is fine, it's probably the best he could have done, but he certainly doesn't help with this drab track at all. Thankfully, the beat partially amps up on the third verse. It's the best part of the track in my opinion, gaining some strings here and there, but that's really about it. And with these lyrics coming in personifying rap as this woman and addressing this love-hate relationship with it, yeah, hard pass. Guns Blazing featuring Dr. Dre and Sly Piper is definitely better than the previous track, but not really by too much. It's surprisingly glacial with this slow, groggy instrumental and the same deep bass pulses. It's got a bit of tension to it, and I really enjoyed Dre's verse over this, even if I do think it ends way too soon. Sly's chorus is pretty solid too. His more melodious voice is a nice contrast, but I really don't think M mashes as well as he thinks he does. He does flow well over the beat, but the beat and his voice are two incredibly different tones that don't match that well themselves. Lyrically, it seems to be very personal, with Dre and M rapping about these women, Dre his wife, and M probably just another woman he always writes about in these types of songs. Honestly, I'm inclined to be optimistic after most of the previous tracks, so yeah, I'll keep it. Gnat, the biggest hit off this record, and pretty much the main single, is a track that has really grown on me with each listen. I feel like under most circumstances I should hate this, but just the flows, the simplistic beat, it's pretty easygoing to listen to, and there's really nothing that clashes or sticks out in an abhorrent way. My favorite part though is probably the beat switch. It's eloquent, it's effortless, and it's just so smooth. Plus the various background instruments that contribute a bit of unique flavoring to it, the trumpet, the sweeping chimes. Lyrically, it's a bit deeper, primarily tackling the coronavirus situation, but also addictions, the political state of America. Wrapped up in this package, it's pretty engaging. I quite enjoy it. Higher is the type of music that sounds like it was directly and genetically programmed for a fighting game. Like, I can just see this being on the next UFC game soundtrack, which is kind of fitting since this was premiered with the UFC 257 card. It's got this gritty, exhilarating synth and loud, dominant pounds of the percussion, and M is actually pretty enjoyable here. He's got good chops for this type of song, and has demonstrated before on songs like Phenomenal. Sly Piper returns with an uncredited feature to handle the hook, and also takes the bridge. He doesn't really add that much in my opinion. I think the track would have been better as solely M. And lyrically, it is kind of obvious, discussing his successes, capabilities, but also his uncertainty for the future. It's not bad. I don't mind this track. These Demons featuring Maj, M-A-J, not too sure how to pronounce it, but it has this extremely generic, slightly bouncier beat that I've heard countless times in other trap songs, and honestly done better by more slurry, mumbly rappers. Hearing M on this just kind of almost makes me a little bit disappointed. Not that he does a bad job, again, his flow is pretty much always great, but these trap beats are not his style. They're extremely hit or miss. And that's one of my biggest problems with M's more recent material. He just doesn't blend that well with these beats. Maj handles the chorus, which is extremely brief. He may not even be on the song at all. But for what it is, it's fine. Lyrically, it's everything in the kitchen sink here. No topic is left unturned. It's really just a smorgasbord of a track. Everything's here that you would expect in a rap song, but frankly, it just feels like too much. This will be a pass. Key, parentheses, skit is a god-awful, atrocious skit. Like, M even says it at the end, it's pretty fucking stupid. This horrible accented singing, brain-dead lyrics, I mean, I'm not even gonna show any of them. Just, why is this here? I guess it's kind of reminiscent of older M when he used to make stupid skits like this. Frankly, I didn't like them then. Still don't. Hard pass. She Loves Me is just another one of M's mid-tempo, pretty boring love songs. There's really nothing here. The beat is the most interesting part of the track, and that's really only because there's a trumpet melody playing in the back. M's flow is pretty uninteresting for the most part, and surprisingly stagnant, which only factors more to this track just being extremely boring. Lyrically, I mean, take a guess. M's just complaining about this girl for a little bit of a different reason, though. This time it's about how she only wants him for the fame instead of loving him as a person. Still doesn't really make the track anything more or less than mediocre at best. Pass. Killer is a track that has a similar effect on me that Tone Deaf did, with this beat, the flow, the charisma, everything kind of just being so infectious. The beat has a nice driving bass to it, got a good snap as well, along with some welcome strings in the background every now and then. And M's flow, much like Tone Deaf, feels effortless. He's got a lot of swagger here, confidence, and some tasteful switch-ups in flows as well. Also, like Tone Deaf, this one does have a lot of pretty corny lyrics in here, but sticks to a main topic about fortune and success and how he's a killer in the rap game. This is a fun song, and I can ignore a lot of the lyrical stuff here and kind of just bop to it. Zeus featuring White Gold is probably the most ruthless and diss track-like on this album, and I kinda love it. It doesn't have too much energy, the beat's pretty tame, maybe almost a bit omniscient in a way, which does corroborate with these lyrics about how M has seen the rise and fall of various states of hip-hop. He feels like he understands and sympathizes with the way some artists are being treated, like Chance, Future, Drake. He also throws a bunch of disses at 6ix9ine and Machine Gun Kelly. It feels very raw. White Gold's chorus is pretty good, his voice blends in well with this beat, and M's pretty versatile with his flows. This is definitely an album highlight. I quite enjoy it. Thus far, parentheses, interlude is a very short 16-second interlude, yet again narrated by Alfred Hitchcock. Kind of a weird place to put technically, as this is the second to last track, but it is fitting with Alfred calling this next track as a flip and is special. And yeah, it kinda is. And finally, the close of Discombobulated is pretty much a near carbon copy of some older Eminem, pretty damn close to the relapse days as he starts to bring in some of these accents back on the track. And thankfully it isn't overdone like on that record. There's a fun amount of energy here, especially on the earlier moments. The drums got some weight, and M's vocals hit that nostalgic note. I also like the beat switch near the midway point. It isn't much of a change, but it does strip back a little bit, getting rid of most of the background noise and dramatics. It's a satisfying track, and with these lyrics that kind of simulate his older material as well, it's fun. Good way to close off the album. Overall, while there were some bangers here, as a whole, this was a pretty drastic step down in my opinion from the standard music to be murdered by. A lot more filler, a lot more boring tracks as well. M still got technical skill second to none, but crafting hooks and actual songs really continues down this train of hit or miss. Sometimes he gets lucky with a great album. I mean, the standard edition I thought was good, but others, you get stuff like this. Kind of just, in my opinion, a bare 6 out of 10. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.